The sun was already beating down hard over the Barreto Ranch, where the most anticipated horse-breaking competition of the year was underway. The stands were packed with eager spectators, buzzing with excitement and judgment, ready to witness another round of men attempting to tame the wildest horse anyone had ever seen. Lightning, a furious animal known for throwing every rider off with terrifying ease. Antonio Barreto, the wealthy owner and host, watched from his luxurious box, sipping whiskey with a smug grin, confident that no one could succeed. The arena was charged with tension as the previous 6 competitors had already been thrown off one by one, their pride battered as much as their bodies. Outside the arena gates, an elderly man named Elias quietly observed the spectacle. At 70 years old, with a white beard, worn clothes, and slow steps, he was a figure most overlooked or mocked by the crowd. But Elias carried a burden heavier than just his years. His wife Rosa was gravely ill back home, and he was here driven by desperation, clutching the hope that the hefty prize money might help her. This wasn't a quest for fame or pride. It was the last chance to do something, to fight against a cruel fate creeping in silently at home. When the announcer called his name, the crowd erupted into laughter and jeers. Elias, however, removed his old hat respectfully and met the eyes of the restless horse in the center. Unlike the wild, furious creature that had tossed others off like rag dolls, Lightning seemed to pause, attentive, almost recognizing the calm determination in this fragile old man's gaze. The arena fell into a heavy silence, broken only by the occasional muttered disbelief or scornful comment from the audience. Elias took measured steps forward, hands steady but tender, as he reached out to touch the side of Lightning's neck. The horse's flared nostrils slowly relaxed, eyes closing briefly in a quiet surrender to the gentleness it hadn't felt in years. It was a moment of unspoken understanding, a reunion not just between man and horse, but of memories and trust long buried under years of neglect and hardship. As Elias carefully climbed onto Lightning's back, a ripple passed through the crowd. The arrogant laughter was replaced by stunned silence. Here was not a fierce showdown, but a quiet reclaiming of something sacred, a bond that no amount of money or bravado could break. As Elias settled into the saddle, every movement was deliberate and calm, almost as if he was greeting an old friend rather than facing a wild beast. Lightning, who had earlier been full of rage and defiance, now moved with a newfound tranquility. The horse walked slowly in circles, its heavy breaths syncing with the steady rhythm of Elias's heart. The crowd, initially skeptical and mocking, grew quiet, their eyes wide with disbelief. Phones and cameras were raised, capturing a moment no one thought possible. Even Antonio Barreto, who moments ago wore an air of smug superiority, now sat frozen, his face drained of color. The arrogance that had filled the arena was replaced by an overwhelming sense of awe and confusion. Elias's voice was soft but clear as he spoke to the horse. "They said you were a monster, but all you needed was a little truth." It was not just a phrase, but a revelation. A reminder that beneath the wild exterior was a soul longing to be understood, not conquered. The atmosphere shifted completely as the horse continued to obey Elias's gentle commands without a hint of resistance. No more violent bucks or fierce attempts to throw him off. Instead, Lightning seemed to remember who he was and who Elias was, the man who had raised him from a foal, fed him milk from a bottle, cared for his wounds, and taught him to walk. Elias's eyes glistened with memories and pain as he recalled the day he had to sell the horse after losing his land, a decision that had torn his heart apart. The crowd listened in silence, their mockery replaced by empathy as Elias shared this piece of his soul. This wasn't a mere competition anymore. It was a story of love, loss, and redemption playing out in real time. The old man wasn't here for glory or money. He was here for Rosa, his wife, whose illness was the reason behind his courage. Every second Elias stayed on that horse was a testament to the power of enduring love and the human spirit's resilience in the face of despair. Slowly but surely, Elias guided Lightning with a patience and tenderness that no other rider had shown that day. The horse no longer resisted but moved with a calmness that seemed almost reverent, as if recognizing the hand that once cared for him. The crowd remained hushed, watching this unexpected display of harmony unfold. The earlier jeers had given way to a deep silence, thick with emotion and disbelief. Elias's weathered face was a portrait of quiet determination and unspoken sorrow. Each small movement spoke volumes about a bond forged through hardship and years of shared history. Even Antonio Barreto's usual cocky demeanor was replaced by something akin to respect as he witnessed the old man's quiet triumph. The prize money suddenly seemed secondary to the powerful scene playing out before everyone's eyes, a story of survival, love, and the unbreakable ties between man and beast. When the ride finally came to an end, Elias dismounted slowly, knees shaking, but spirit unbroken. Lightning stayed close, nuzzling his shoulder gently, their connection evident to all. The silence in the arena lingered as Elias approached the center, where the competition's prize awaited. When handed the envelope, he looked at it briefly and then whispered, "This isn't for me, it's for Rosa." The crowd's response was a mixture of awe and respect. The old man's journey had transcended the contest itself, touching something deeper in everyone who watched. As Elias made his way out of the arena, the applause started tentatively, then grew louder and more sincere. No one left that day unchanged. A story of courage, love, and redemption had been witnessed, one that would be told again and again in that small town and beyond. Back outside the arena, the energy among the crowd had shifted. Those who had jeered now whispered among themselves, some wiping away tears they hadn't expected to shed. Elias moved slowly toward the edge of the field, clutching the prize money envelope, but more importantly, carrying the weight of a promise to his wife. His body ached from years of hard work and from the ride itself, but his heart felt lighter than it had in months. Lightning followed him faithfully, no longer the wild beast that had terrified everyone, but a gentle companion who had found peace at last. It was clear to anyone paying attention that this was no ordinary horse, and this was no ordinary man. Their bond was the kind that only hardship and shared history can forge, a reminder that sometimes strength comes not from force but from understanding and love. That evening, as Elias and Lightning returned to the small, worn house where Rosa lay sick, there was a quiet sense of hope in the air. The creaking wooden door opened slowly, and Rosa looked up, her eyes weak but lighting up when she saw Elias. He sat beside her bed and gently took her hand, the envelope with the prize money resting on the small table nearby. The exhaustion in his eyes was replaced by something softer, relief, determination, and an unspoken vow to keep fighting for her. The day's battle in the arena had been about more than taming a wild horse. It was a fight for love, dignity, and survival. Outside, Lightning grazed peacefully in the yard, a silent guardian watching over the small family as the sun began to set, casting long shadows of resilience and hope across the fading light. In the days that followed, news of Elias's remarkable ride spread beyond the confines of the ranch and the small town. Videos of Lightning's transformation from a feared wild stallion to a calm and obedient companion circulated on social media, sparking conversations about perseverance, love, and the power of second chances. Elias, however, remained humble and focused on what mattered most: Rosa's health and their quiet life together. Visitors began to come by the house, some simply to meet the man who had tamed the untamable, others seeking inspiration from the story that had captured so many hearts. For Elias, these moments were bittersweet reminders of the life he once had and the challenges that still lay ahead. But the prize money had bought more than medicine. It had bought hope and time, precious gifts that neither wealth nor fame could replace. Lightning, once the symbol of wildness and uncontrollable strength, had become a symbol of something much deeper: the bond between two souls who refused to give up on each other. The horse roamed freely around the property now, no fences holding him in, but he never wandered far. Elias watched him often, a quiet smile tugging at the corners of his lips. In Lightning's eyes, he saw not just a horse, but a reflection of his own journey, the scars, the struggles, and the quiet victories. And in that reflection, Elias found a renewed sense of purpose. Though the years weighed heavily on his body, his spirit was rekindled by the knowledge that sometimes the greatest victories come from acts of love that no one else can see but the heart itself. In the days and weeks that followed the unforgettable ride, the story of Elias and Lightning spread far beyond the dusty confines of the Barreto Ranch and the small town that had once mocked the old man. Videos of the event circulated widely on social media, capturing the moment when Lightning, once a terrifying symbol of raw, untamed power, became calm and obedient under Elias's gentle touch. People everywhere were moved by the undeniable proof that love, patience, and persistence can tame even the wildest of spirits. But Elias, despite the sudden attention and praise, remained humble and grounded. For him, the ride had never been about fame or glory. It was about survival and hope. The prize money wasn't just a reward. It was a lifeline to buy the medicine Rosa desperately needed to keep her alive for as long as possible. Friends and strangers came by to see the man who had achieved what many thought impossible, seeking inspiration in his quiet strength and unwavering resolve. Yet Elias knew this was only the beginning of a much longer battle. His days were filled with care for Rosa, managing her illness with a newfound sense of determination. He wasn't a hero by choice. He was a husband fighting for the woman he loved, drawing on reserves of strength he hadn't realized he had. The world saw a miracle ride, but Elias saw a testament to the human spirit's refusal to surrender, even when the odds are stacked against it. Lightning had become more than just a horse. He was a living symbol of hope, resilience, and the unbreakable bond forged between two souls who refused to give up on each other. No longer confined by fences or restraints, Lightning roamed freely across the small property surrounding Elias's home. The horse's wild energy had softened into a calm vigilance, a presence that filled the yard with quiet dignity. Elias often found himself watching Lightning for hours, admiring the way the animal moved with a grace born from years of hardship and love. In those eyes, Elias saw a reflection of his own journey, the battles fought, the pain endured, and the small but significant victories won every day. This connection rekindled a fire within Elias's spirit. Though his body was frail and marked by decades of labor and struggle, his heart beat stronger with purpose. The old man no longer felt defeated or forgotten. Instead, he carried with him a profound truth. Sometimes the greatest triumphs are those invisible to the world, victories of love and persistence that only the heart can truly understand. This quiet realization gave Elias the courage to face each new day with hope, no matter how heavy the load. And in Lightning's steady presence, he found a companion and a reminder that even the wildest souls can be touched by kindness and remembered with love. Weeks passed, and Elias's life settled into a fragile but hopeful rhythm. Rosa's condition fluctuated, sometimes improving, sometimes slipping back into weakness. But Elias never let despair take hold. Every morning began with quiet rituals, checking her temperature, preparing medicine, and sharing small moments of laughter or memory. The envelope with the prize money sat on the kitchen table, a tangible symbol of a day that had changed everything. Visitors still came, some out of curiosity, others drawn by the story's power. But Elias welcomed them all with a gentle humility. The local school invited him to speak, and despite initial hesitation, he shared his story with the students, not as a tale of heroic feats, but as a lesson in love, patience, and courage. When a young boy asked if he ever felt too old to try, Elias's eyes moistened as he replied, "Every day. But love gives us strength when we think we have none." Those words echoed far beyond the classroom, inspiring a community to see strength in persistence and kindness in the face of struggle. Lightning had fully become a part of their home and lives, no longer a symbol of danger, but of healing and connection. The horse roamed freely, often coming close to the house to rest near Rosa's window or greet Elias with gentle nudges. Elias noticed small changes in himself too. The ache in his joints seemed lighter, his steps a little steadier, fueled by renewed purpose. The bond between man and horse was no longer just about taming a wild spirit, but about mutual care and companionship. Lightning, once feared and misunderstood, was now a quiet guardian, a reminder of the battles Elias had faced and won. As the days grew longer and the sun cast softer light over the ranch, there was a sense of peace settling into the small family's life. Though the future remained uncertain, Elias faced it with a heart fortified by love, gratitude, and the unshakable belief that no matter the struggle, hope could always be found in the simplest of bonds. Months slipped by gently, carrying with them moments of quiet resilience and unexpected joy. Elias and Rosa navigated the ups and downs of her illness with a newfound grace, their days punctuated by small victories, a smile, a shared memory, a restful night. Elias's unwavering care, born from love and desperation, became the foundation of their fragile peace. The story of his ride on Lightning had become a legend in their town, a symbol not just of courage, but of something far deeper, the power of hope and the human capacity to endure. Visitors continued to come, often bringing small gifts or words of encouragement, touched by the story of the old man who had refused to give up. Despite his age and physical frailty, Elias carried himself with a quiet dignity that inspired all who met him. The days were not easy. There were setbacks and moments of exhaustion. But through it all, Elias's spirit remained unbroken, buoyed by the love for his wife and the bond with his horse. Lightning had transformed from a fierce, untamed force into a gentle presence, a symbol of healing and loyalty. No fences confined him. He moved freely around the property, yet he never strayed far from Elias and Rosa. The horse's calm demeanor and steady companionship brought a comforting stability to their lives, a living reminder of the day when trust overcame fear and love conquered doubt. Elias often sat watching Lightning graze peacefully in the soft light of dawn or dusk, feeling a deep connection that transcended words. This bond, forged through hardship and care, gave Elias a renewed sense of purpose and strength, even as the years wore on. The lessons he carried were simple but profound, that age and adversity do not define a person's worth, and that love, in its many forms, has the power to change everything. In the quiet moments of their shared days, Elias and Lightning stood as living proof that sometimes the greatest victories are those that go unseen but leave an indelible mark on the soul. As time passed, Elias found himself reflecting more often on the journey that had brought him here, to this fragile yet hopeful moment in his life. The competition, the ride, the crowd's laughter, and then silence. It all seemed like a distant memory, yet it had changed everything. What mattered now wasn't the prize money or the fleeting attention of strangers, but the quiet mornings with Rosa, the slow steps through their small home, and the gentle presence of Lightning grazing nearby. Elias felt the weight of his years, the aches in his joints, but also the strength born from love and purpose. Each day was a gift, fragile but precious, and he faced it with a courage that surprised even himself. The community around them had shifted too. Where once there had been skepticism and mockery, now there was respect and admiration. Elias wasn't just the old man who tamed a wild horse. He was a symbol of perseverance, a reminder that even in the face of despair, hope can endure and love can conquer. The bond between Elias and Lightning grew deeper with every passing day. The horse, once feared as a wild and uncontrollable beast, had become a quiet guardian and companion, a living reminder of a past marked by struggle and tenderness. Elias often found solace in watching Lightning's calm movements in the yard, the horse's steady breathing syncing with the rhythms of the small home. In those moments, words felt unnecessary. Their connection spoke volumes without a single sound. Elias knew that life would continue to challenge them both, but he also knew they would face whatever came together. Lightning's presence was a constant source of comfort and strength, a symbol of the journey from fear to trust, from isolation to connection. For Elias, that journey was more than a story. It was a testament to the enduring power of love and the quiet heroism found in everyday acts of care. One afternoon, as Elias sat on the porch watching Lightning graze in the sun-dappled yard, he found himself thinking about the fragility of time and the strength found in the bonds we forge. His hands, worn and calloused from a lifetime of work, trembled slightly as he reached for his old, faded hat. The years had left their marks, not just on his body but on his spirit, yet there was a quiet resilience beneath it all. Elias's thoughts drifted to Rosa, lying inside the small house, her pale face softened by the fading light. He knew their time together was uncertain, each day a gift more precious than the last. The prize money had bought medicines and some peace, but it was the love that had carried them through the darkest moments. Lightning, once the wild horse that no one could tame, was now a steadfast guardian of their home, a symbol of their journey through hardship and hope. As Elias watched the horse's steady breathing and calm movements, he felt a deep gratitude for the unexpected gifts life had given him, moments of connection that transcended pain and loss. That evening, the air cool and still, Elias settled beside Rosa's bedside, holding her fragile hand in his own. Their eyes met, filled with unspoken emotions that only years of shared struggles could create. Rosa's faint smile was a fragile light in the growing darkness, but Elias saw strength in it, a quiet defiance against the illness that threatened to steal her away. He whispered promises of tomorrow, of continued fights and small victories, knowing that love was the force that would carry them forward. Outside, Lightning stood quietly in the yard, a silent sentinel guarding the house and the lives within. The old man and the horse had both faced their own battles, Elias against time and fate, Lightning against fear and abandonment. Together they embodied a story of resilience, trust, and enduring love, reminding all who witnessed it that even in the hardest moments, there is a light that will not be extinguished. The days turned into weeks, and with each passing sunrise, Elias's determination seemed to grow stronger, fueled by the love he held for Rosa and the quiet strength he found in Lightning's steady presence. The small house, worn but filled with memories, became a sanctuary where time moved slower and every moment was cherished. Elias's routine was simple but filled with purpose, tending to Rosa's needs, caring for Lightning, and finding small ways to bring light into their lives despite the looming shadow of illness. Visitors still came by, drawn by the tale of the old man and the wild horse. But Elias greeted each with a humble nod, always redirecting attention to the true source of his strength, his wife. It was a story not just about taming a horse, but about the fierce love and resilience that carried a man through his darkest days. The community began to see Elias not as a figure of pity or age, but as a symbol of hope, a living testament that courage and compassion could overcome even the harshest of odds. Lightning continued to be more than just an animal. He was a living symbol of the enduring bond between past and present, struggle and peace. The horse's presence in the yard brought a sense of calm that permeated the home and the hearts of those who lived there. Elias often found himself watching Lightning move gracefully, each step a reminder of the journey they had shared, from wild and untamed to calm and trusting. Their connection had become a silent language, a mutual understanding that transcended words and age. Elias knew that life's challenges were far from over, but with Lightning by his side and Rosa's love in his heart, he felt ready to face whatever came next. It was a quiet kind of strength, born from hardship and nurtured by hope, one that whispered softly but carried the power to transform lives. One chilly morning, Elias felt the weight of years pressing down on him more than usual. His joints ached, and fatigue lingered in his bones, but his resolve was unshaken. Rosa's illness was a constant shadow, yet in those quiet moments, Elias found strength in the smallest things: the warmth of sunlight through the window, the soft sound of Lightning grazing nearby, the gentle clasp of Rosa's hand in his own. Memories of the day he rode Lightning in the arena flooded his mind, the sneers of the crowd, the disbelief, and then the profound silence that followed when man and horse found understanding. That day had changed everything, not just for him, but for those who witnessed it. It was proof that love and patience could break down walls that seemed impossible to breach. Elias's heart swelled with gratitude, knowing that each breath was a gift, each moment a victory. The bond with Lightning was a living testament to the power of connection, and as Elias watched the horse's calm eyes meet his own, he felt a quiet peace settle over him. Evenings were often spent sitting on the porch, Elias wrapped in a worn blanket, while Lightning rested nearby, a loyal sentinel. The rhythm of their lives had slowed, but the strength beneath was steady and sure. Rosa's health remained fragile, but her spirit burned brightly, fueled by Elias's unwavering care and the comfort of their shared memories. The neighborhood had come to see Elias not as a frail old man, but as a pillar of resilience and quiet dignity. The story of his ride had sparked something in the hearts of many, a reminder that courage is not always loud or flashy, but often found in everyday acts of love and endurance. For Elias, the days ahead were uncertain, but he faced them with a spirit fortified by hope, the companionship of a once wild horse, and the unbreakable bond of a lifetime shared with the woman he loved. As the seasons shifted, Elias noticed subtle changes in the world around him and within himself. The chill of autumn gave way to the quiet promise of winter, wrapping the small ranch in a blanket of stillness. Elias's steps grew slower, his breathing a little heavier, but his spirit remained unyielding. Every morning, he rose with the same determination, tending to Rosa and Lightning with the care of a man who knows that each day is both a challenge and a blessing. The neighborhood children who once whispered tales about the old man and the wild horse now approached with shy smiles, eager to hear stories of perseverance and hope. Elias welcomed them warmly, sharing lessons not just about horses or competitions, but about the strength found in patience, love, and never giving up. His presence had become a quiet beacon, a source of inspiration for a community, reminded that even the smallest acts of courage ripple outwards and touch many lives. Lightning had become more than just an animal tethered to a farm. He was a symbol of transformation and unwavering loyalty. The horse roamed freely around the property, his movements slow and deliberate but filled with a dignified grace. Elias often sat watching Lightning, marveling at how much the horse mirrored his own journey, weathered but steadfast, powerful yet gentle. The bond between them was unspoken but deeply felt, a connection forged through hardship, trust, and enduring love. Elias's eyes would sometimes glisten as he looked at Lightning, knowing that the horse's presence was a constant reminder of the day when two broken souls found strength in each other. Though the future was uncertain, Elias faced it with a heart fortified by this bond, ready to meet whatever came with quiet courage and hope. One slow afternoon, Elias sat on the weathered wooden porch of his small home, his eyes following Lightning as the horse grazed peacefully under the warm glow of the late afternoon sun. The horse, once a symbol of chaos and danger, had transformed into a quiet guardian, embodying resilience and healing. Elias's mind drifted back over the many trials they had faced together, losing the family land that once held so many memories, the heavy weight of Rosa's illness, and the harsh judgments from the crowd that once mocked him. Yet, despite all these hardships, a thread of love and determination had held them together, stronger than any obstacle. The prize money Elias won had been vital, but what truly sustained them were the daily, quiet acts of care, the gentle touch, the patient guidance, the shared moments of understanding between man and horse. Elias felt a deep gratitude welling up inside him. The bond with Lightning was more than companionship. It was a lifeline, a connection that transcended words and time, a testament to the power of love and persistence in the face of overwhelming odds. Every glance at the calm horse reminded Elias that hope could be found even in the darkest places, and that sometimes healing comes in the form of unexpected friendships. As dusk settled over the ranch, Elias slowly rose and went inside to be near Rosa. Their modest home, filled with the soft, fading light of evening, was a refuge from the harshness of the outside world. Elias carefully took Rosa's frail hand in his own, feeling the delicate pulse beneath her skin, a fragile but steady sign of life. Her tired eyes met his, and though she was weak, her smile carried the depth of years shared, a silent vow of love and endurance. The battles with illness and the toll of time had worn down their bodies, but their spirits remained intertwined, buoyed by memories, hope, and the simple truth that they faced the future together. Outside the window, Lightning stood quietly, his presence a comforting shield against loneliness and fear. In that peaceful moment, Elias felt the immense strength that came from love, loyalty, and faith, a strength that no illness, no hardship could ever break. It was a quiet kind of heroism, born from everyday acts of courage and devotion, the kind that changes lives in ways that cannot always be seen, but are felt deeply within the heart. In the quiet hours of the morning, before the sun had fully risen, Elias was already awake, moving carefully around the small house. Every step felt deliberate, each motion tinged with the tenderness of a man who understood the fragility of life. Rosa lay in bed, pale but breathing steadily, and Elias checked the medicine beside her, ensuring everything was ready for the day. Outside, Lightning stood calmly in the yard, the cool morning air ruffling his mane as he watched Elias with knowing eyes. There was a silent understanding between the two, a bond forged through trials, love, and mutual respect. The memory of that pivotal day in the arena still lingered in Elias's mind, not as a distant event, but as a source of strength. The crowd's disbelief, the silence that followed, the moment Lightning accepted Elias's presence, all had become part of the fabric of his life. It reminded him that even when the world seemed harsh and unyielding, compassion and patience could break through barriers. With each passing day, Elias found renewed hope, fueled by the love for Rosa and the steady companionship of Lightning, who had become much more than just a horse. He was a symbol of endurance, trust, and the quiet power of connection. Later that day, Elias ventured outside with a slow, steady gait to tend to Lightning. The horse greeted him with gentle nuzzles, a silent greeting that spoke of their deep bond. Elias ran his hands along Lightning's neck, feeling the warmth and steady heartbeat beneath the skin. It was a moment of calm amid the uncertainty that shadowed their lives. Caring for Lightning had become a ritual that grounded Elias, a reminder that life continued even in the face of hardship. As he led the horse through the pasture, Elias thought about the future. Uncertain, yes, but also full of possibility. He knew that Rosa's battle was far from over, and his own strength had limits, but the connection he shared with Lightning gave him courage. It was a bond that transcended age, illness, and fear, rooted in trust and love. This quiet partnership gave Elias a reason to face each day with hope and resilience, embracing the small victories that often went unnoticed but meant everything to those who lived them.
As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting sharp shadows across the ranch, Elias moved through his daily routine with quiet determination. Despite the aches in his joints and the weariness that settled deep in his bones, he found strength in the simple acts of caring for Rosa and Lightning. The house was modest, but it was filled with memories and love that no riches could buy.
Elias took time to prepare Rosa's medicine carefully, measuring each dose with a precision born from months of experience and hope. Outside, Lightning grazed calmly, his presence a soothing balm to the old man's spirit. Elias often found himself watching the horse, marveling at the transformation that had taken place, from a fierce, untamable creature to a loyal companion. It was a change that mirrored Elias's own journey, from despair to quiet resilience. Each day was a reminder that even in the face of hardship, love and patience could create miracles. The bond between man and horse was more than practical. It was a living testament to survival, trust, and the power of connection. Later that afternoon, Elias and Lightning shared a rare moment of peace in the fading warmth of the day. The horse moved slowly through the pasture, his steps measured and steady, while Elias followed with a calm presence that spoke of years of shared history. There was a silence between them, filled not with words but with understanding. Elias's eyes reflected a mixture of gratitude and sorrow as he looked at Lightning, knowing that their journey had not been easy, but had changed them both forever. The prize money he had won was a lifeline for Rosa, but it was the love and trust between him and Lightning that had given him the courage to face each new day. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in shades of gold and shadow, Elias felt a quiet peace settle over his heart. No matter what the future held, he knew he was not alone. With Lightning by his side and Rosa in his heart, he had found a strength that no illness or hardship could take away. One early morning, as the first light painted the sky in soft hues of pink and orange, Elias awoke with a deep sense of calm. The house was quiet, except for the faint sound of Lightning grazing just outside the window. Though his body was weary and the years had left their marks, Elias's spirit remained steady. Fueled by love and a steadfast hope, he moved carefully around the room, preparing Rosa's medicines with practiced hands, every motion filled with intention and tenderness. The memory of that unforgettable day at the arena was never far from his mind. The crowd's jeers, the overwhelming silence when he mounted Lightning, and the profound trust that blossomed between man and horse. That moment was a turning point, not only for Elias but for everyone who witnessed it. It was proof that even the wildest hearts could be softened by patience, kindness, and genuine connection. With every breath, Elias felt the quiet strength that came from knowing he was not alone in this fight, and that love was the force sustaining him through the darkest times. Later that day, Elias ventured outside to spend time with Lightning, who greeted him with gentle nuzzles and soft whinnies, familiar and comforting sounds in the stillness of the afternoon. Elias stroked the horse's mane and ran his fingers along his neck, feeling the warmth and steady heartbeat beneath his palm. This ritual had become a source of grounding and peace, a way to connect with something steady amid the uncertainty that surrounded his and Rosa's lives. As Elias led Lightning slowly around the pasture, he reflected on the future, uncertain and fraught with challenges, but also holding moments of hope and beauty. Despite Rosa's illness and his own advancing age, Elias found courage in this partnership, in the unspoken understanding that had formed between them. The horse, once a symbol of wildness and fear, had become a silent guardian, and reminder that love and trust could overcome even the deepest scars. With each step, Elias felt renewed, ready to face whatever days lay ahead with resilience and hope. Days grew shorter as autumn slowly gave way to winter, and the ranch was wrapped in a quiet stillness that mirrored the slowing pace of Elias's own life. Yet, despite the creeping chill and the weight of years pressing upon his body, Elias's spirit remained unbroken. He found strength in the routines he shared with Rosa and Lightning, the quiet moments of preparing medicine, tending the small garden, and walking slowly beside the horse as it grazed beneath the skeletal trees. The memory of the day he rode Lightning through the arena, turning mockery into awe, remained vivid and sharp, a beacon in dark times. That ride was not just a victory over a wild horse, but a profound reminder of the power of love, trust, and resilience. Elias often caught himself watching Lightning as the horse moved with calm dignity through the fading light. Their bond was a quiet, unspoken language, one of mutual respect and deep understanding that transcended words or age. For Elias, every day was a gift, a chance to live with grace despite the uncertain future looming over them. One chilly evening, as the sun slipped behind the hills, Elias sat on the porch wrapped in a thick blanket, Lightning resting quietly nearby. The air was crisp, and the stars began to peek through the darkening sky. Rosa's breathing was steady inside the small home, and Elias held her hand for a moment, feeling the fragile warmth and strength intertwined in that simple touch. The struggles of illness and the passage of time had etched lines of hardship across their lives, but love remained their steady foundation. Outside, Lightning's gentle presence was a comforting reminder of the journey they had traveled, from fear and desperation to hope and trust. Elias knew the road ahead would not be easy, but in that peaceful moment, he felt a profound sense of peace. With Rosa by his side and Lightning near, he had found a strength rooted not in physical power, but in love's quiet endurance and the unbreakable bonds forged through shared struggle. Winter settled over the ranch with a quiet grace, blanketing the landscape in soft frost that glistened under the pale morning sun. Elias moved slowly through his days, the chill seeping into his bones but never dimming the fire that burned within his heart. Each morning began with familiar rituals, checking on Rosa, preparing her medicines with care, and stepping outside to find Lightning waiting patiently. The horse's calm eyes and steady presence were a balm for Elias's weary spirit, a reminder that despite the harshness of life, moments of peace and connection still existed. The memory of the arena, the crowd's disbelief, and the silent bond formed between man and horse remained etched in Elias's mind as a testament to the power of love and perseverance. The winter air was crisp, but Elias carried warmth inside, a quiet resilience born from years of struggle and sustained by hope. Every breath was a victory, every step a testament to the strength that comes from facing life's challenges head-on, fueled by love. As the days grew shorter and the nights longer, Elias found comfort in the simple routines that grounded him amid uncertainty. Sitting by the fire with Rosa's frail hand in his, or watching Lightning graze peacefully in the snow-dusted pasture, he embraced the quiet beauty of the moment. The horse, once wild and untamed, had become a symbol of healing and trust, a living reminder of the journey they had shared through hardship and hope. Elias's heart swelled with gratitude for the small miracles woven into their daily lives, from the soft breathing of his wife to the gentle nudge of Lightning's muzzle. Though the future remained uncertain, Elias faced it with a spirit fortified by love and the enduring bonds that had carried him through so much. The story of an old man and his horse was no longer just a tale of a daring ride. It was a living testament to the quiet heroism found in resilience, compassion, and unwavering devotion. Spring arrived quietly, bringing soft breezes and the promise of new beginnings to the ranch. Elias noticed the subtle changes in the landscape, the first buds on the trees, the gentle hum of returning life, and felt a fragile hope stirring within himself. Despite the continuing challenges of Rosa's illness and his own aging body, Elias found strength in the rhythms of nature and the steady companionship of Lightning. The horse, once feared and untamed, had become a symbol of endurance and loyalty, roaming freely but always returning to the man who had tamed him with patience and love. Elias often sat outside, watching Lightning move with a calm grace across the fields, reflecting on how much their lives had changed since that day in the arena. What once seemed impossible, conquering the wild horse, facing down despair, had become their daily reality, a quiet victory etched in the small moments they shared. In the soft light of spring, Elias felt a renewed sense of purpose, buoyed by love and the unspoken bond that had transformed them both. Each day brought new challenges, But Elias faced them with a quiet courage that inspired those around him. His care for Rosa was tireless, filled with tenderness and determination, while his relationship with Lightning grew deeper with every passing moment. The community, once skeptical and mocking, now saw Elias not as a frail old man, but as a symbol of resilience and hope. Visitors came to hear his story, to witness the bond between man and horse, and to find inspiration in a journey that transcended hardship. For Elias, the ride in the arena was more than a memory. It was a turning point that had redefined his life and given him the strength to keep fighting. Though the future remained uncertain, Elias's heart was steady, grounded in love, trust, and the enduring power of connection. Together with Rosa and Lightning, he faced whatever came next, a quiet hero in a story of patience, loyalty, and unwavering devotion. As the warm days of spring unfolded, Elias found himself embracing the rhythms of life with a quiet resolve that surprised even him. Each morning began with the gentle sounds of birdsong and the soft rustling of leaves, a peaceful contrast to the chaos that had once filled his world. Rosa's condition, while still fragile, showed signs of slight improvement, moments of lucidity and small smiles that brought light to their days. Elias approached each sunrise with a mixture of gratitude and determination, knowing that time was precious, and every moment with Rosa a gift. Lightning remained a steadfast companion, his calm presence a balm for the old man's weary heart. Elias often spent hours watching the horse move gracefully through the fields, feeling a deep connection that words could not capture. The ride in the arena, with all its fear and triumph, had forged a bond that transcended the physical, a bond of trust, love, and shared endurance that had become the foundation of Elias's strength. It was this strength that carried him forward, through the uncertainty and challenges that lay ahead. Despite the lingering hardships, Elias found solace in the simple joys that life offered. The warmth of the sun on his face, the sound of Lightning's steady breathing, the quiet moments spent beside Rosa's bedside. The community's attitude had shifted as well, from skepticism and doubt to admiration and respect. People came to know Elias not just as the man who tamed Lightning, but as a symbol of resilience and quiet heroism. His story was shared in whispers and smiles, inspiring those who faced their own battles to keep going. Elias himself rarely spoke of heroism. For him, every day was about love. Love for Rosa, for Lightning, and for the life they still had to live. That love was a steady flame, burning bright even in the darkest hours, a reminder that sometimes the greatest strength comes not from grand gestures, but from the quiet perseverance found in everyday acts of care and devotion. Summer came with its own set of challenges, the heat pressing down on the ranch and adding to the physical strain on Elias and Rosa. Yet through the sweltering days, Elias's resolve never wavered. His hands, roughened by years of labor and care, moved with practiced precision as he administered Rosa's medicines and tended to Lightning's needs. The old man's eyes, once filled with weariness, now shone with a quiet determination, a reflection of the deep love that fueled every action. Lightning, once the wild stallion that no one could tame, had become a symbol of patience and trust, a living testament to the power of connection forged through hardship. Elias often found himself sitting under the shade of an ancient tree, watching Lightning graze peacefully, a calm presence that steadied his spirit. The story of the arena, the challenge, the crowd's disbelief, the profound silence, was no longer just a memory, but a source of strength. It reminded Elias that love and persistence could overcome even the toughest obstacles, and that sometimes the greatest victories are found in the quietest moments. As the days grew longer and the sun painted the landscape with golden light, Elias cherished every second with Rosa and Lightning. The community continued to rally around them, offering support and friendship to a man who had shown remarkable courage and grace. Elias rarely sought attention or praise. His focus was always on the small joys that filled his days. A smile from Rosa, the soft whinny of Lightning, the warmth of a shared moment. Despite the uncertainty that lingered in the air, Elias faced the future with hope, sustained by the unbreakable bonds that had carried him through so much. His story, once marked by struggle and skepticism, had become one of inspiration and quiet heroism. Elias understood that life was fragile and unpredictable, but he also knew that love, patient, enduring, and fierce, had the power to transform even the hardest journeys into ones filled with meaning and grace. As summer began to fade into autumn, Elias felt the passing of time more keenly, the weight of years pressing heavily on his shoulders. His movements were slower now, and the aches in his joints sharper, yet his spirit remained unyielding. The quiet moments with Rosa, sitting side by side in their small home, had become treasures beyond measure. Elias would often sit by the window, watching lightning roam freely in the yard, his calm presence a steadying force in the shifting currents of life. The horse was no longer the wild, untamed force of years past, but a gentle companion who embodied the resilience and trust that defined Elias's journey. The memory of the arena, the roar of the crowd, the disbelief, and the unspoken bond between man and horse remained a powerful reminder of what had been overcome. Elias understood that life's challenges would continue, but he faced them with a heart fortified by love and the quiet strength born of enduring hardship. One crisp autumn evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky with shades of amber and rose, Elias sat on the porch wrapped in a worn blanket. Rosa rested peacefully inside, and Lightning stood nearby, a silent guardian watching over them both. The air was filled with a calm that felt almost sacred, a moment suspended between past struggles and the uncertain future. Elias's thoughts wandered to the journey that had brought them here, the losses, the battles, and the unexpected victories. Though the road had been long and difficult, it was paved with acts of love and persistence that had shaped every step. Elias reached out, gently stroking Lightning's mane, feeling the warmth and steady rhythm of the horse's breath. In that quiet connection, he found a wellspring of hope and peace, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, love endures and transforms. The story of Elias, Rosa, and Lightning was one of resilience, trust, and the unbreakable bonds that carry us through life's most challenging moments. Winter approached quietly, bringing with it a cold that seemed to seep into the very bones of the land and the people who lived on it. Elias felt the chill more acutely now, his steps slower, his body more fragile. Yet despite the physical hardships, his resolve remained firm. Every morning began the same way. A careful check on Rosa, ensuring her medicines were within reach. A glance outside to see Lightning standing patiently in the frosty yard. The horse's presence was a comforting constant amid the uncertainty that hung over their lives. Elias often thought back to that day in the arena, the deafening roar of the crowd, the disbelief that had given way to silence, and the profound moment when man and horse found a fragile harmony. That day was more than a victory. It was a testament to the power of patience, love, and quiet strength. Even as the cold winds blew and the world grew harsh, Elias carried a warmth within him, a flame kindled by love and sustained by hope. Inside the small house, evenings were spent wrapped in soft blankets, the fading light casting gentle shadows on the worn walls. Elias sat beside Rosa's bed, holding her hand with a tenderness that spoke of decades of shared life. Her breath was steady, her eyes soft with trust and love. Though illness and age had taken much from them, the bond they shared remained unbreakable. Outside, Lightning rested quietly, a vigilant guardian of the home and heart. Elias felt a deep gratitude for the journey that had brought them to this moment, a journey marked not just by struggle, but by acts of devotion and resilience. The story of Elias and Lightning was no longer just about taming a horse. It was about enduring love, the courage to face each day, and the strength found in the quiet connections that sustain us. In the stillness of winter, Elias knew that no matter what came next, he was not alone. The winter months stretched on, bringing long nights and biting cold that tested Elias's strength and resolve. Yet within the warmth of their small home, a quiet battle of hope and perseverance unfolded each day. Elias rose early, careful with every movement as he prepared Rosa's medicine and checked the small stove that warmed their modest kitchen. Outside, Lightning moved slowly through the frost-covered pasture, his breath rising in soft clouds as he grazed beneath the gray sky. The bond between man and horse had deepened into something profound, a mutual source of comfort and strength amid the uncertainty that surrounded them. Elias often found himself lost in thought, remembering the incredulous faces in the arena, the silence that followed his ride, and the overwhelming sense of connection he had felt with Lightning in that moment. That memory was a beacon, a reminder that even when the world seemed cold and unforgiving, love and patience could carve out spaces of warmth and healing. Each day, Elias faced the challenges with steady determination, buoyed by the enduring ties that sustained his spirit. Inside their home, the quiet evenings were filled with soft conversations and gentle touches, moments where love spoke louder than words. Elias sat beside Rosa's bed, holding her hand tenderly, feeling the pulse of life that remained despite the frailty of her body. Her eyes met his with a trust and warmth that transcended the pain and fear that illness brought. Though the future was uncertain, the strength they drew from each other was unwavering. Outside, lightning stood guard, a silent sentinel watching over the home and the lives within. The journey Elias and Lightning had shared, from wildness to trust, from despair to hope, was more than a story of taming a horse. It was a testament to the power of resilience, connection, and enduring love. As winter deepened, Elias carried within him a quiet peace, a faith that no matter what came next, the bonds they had forged would carry them through. Spring began to creep softly over the horizon, bringing with it the gentle promise of renewal and change. Elias felt the shift in the air, the subtle warmth that coaxed new life from the earth and stirred hope within his heart. Though Rosa's illness lingered, the moments of clarity and laughter they shared became brighter, filling their small home with light. Elias's days were a delicate balance of care and quiet reflection, tending to Rosa's needs while drawing strength from the steady companionship of Lightning. The horse, once wild and untamed, had become a symbol of endurance and trust, his calm presence grounding Elias through the uncertainty that still shadowed their lives. Watching Lightning move gracefully across the fields, Elias often found himself lost in thought, reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. A journey marked by hardship, love, and the unwavering will to keep going. The arena, the crowd's disbelief, and the silent bond formed that day were no longer just memories, but foundations of hope that sustained him. Community support had blossomed alongside the spring growth, with neighbors and friends rallying around Elias and Rosa in ways both big and small. People brought meals, shared stories, and offered a helping hand, creating a network of kindness that buoyed the family's spirits. Elias, once seen as a figure of pity or curiosity, was now embraced as a symbol of resilience and quiet courage. His story, the old man who tamed Lightning and fought for love against all odds, inspired many to face their own struggles with renewed strength. Despite the uncertainties ahead, Elias faced each day with a steady heart, anchored by the love he shared with Rosa and the profound connection to Lightning. Their lives, intertwined in a tapestry of trust, patience, and hope, continued to unfold quietly but powerfully, a testament to the enduring human spirit. As spring deepened, Elias found himself more attuned to the subtle rhythms of life around him. Each day brought new signs of growth and renewal, from the blooming wildflowers to the soft hum of bees returning to the fields. These quiet moments became a source of solace and strength, reminding Elias that even amid hardship, life continued to find a way forward. Rosa's health remained fragile, but the moments of clarity and laughter they shared brightened their days and gave Elias renewed hope. Lightning's calm presence was a constant comfort, his steady companionship a reminder of the bond that had sustained Elias through so much. Watching the horse move gracefully across the sunlit fields, Elias reflected on the transformation they had both undergone, from fear and wildness to trust and healing. That day in the arena, once so daunting and filled with doubt, had become a touchstone, a symbol of the power of patience, love, and resilience. Elias carried that memory with him, a quiet flame that fueled his determination to face whatever the future held. Community support continued to grow, weaving a safety net around Elias and Rosa that softened the edges of their struggles. Neighbors brought food, offered to help with chores, and simply shared their presence, reminding the family they were not alone. Elias, once dismissed as an old man clinging to fading strength, was now seen as a pillar of quiet courage and hope. His story, the man who tamed Lightning and fought fiercely for love, inspired many who faced their own challenges, encouraging them to persevere. Despite the uncertainty and hardships ahead, Elias met each day with a steady heart and unwavering resolve. His life with Rosa and Lightning had become a testament to the enduring human spirit, a reminder that love, trust, and patience could transform even the bleakest moments into something meaningful and beautiful. Their journey continued, quiet yet profound, carried forward by bonds that nothing could break. As summer approached once again, the heat brought new challenges to Elias and Rosa's daily life. The sun beat down relentlessly on the ranch, and Elias felt the strain in his bones more keenly. Yet despite the physical toll, his determination did not falter. Every day, he rose early to prepare Rosa's medications, carefully measuring each dose with the precision born from months of vigilant care. The small house was modest, but filled with a warmth that no wealth could buy. Lightning remained a steady presence, grazing calmly in the shade of the old oak tree, a silent guardian of the home and heart. Elias often found himself watching the horse, marveling at the transformation from wild stallion to loyal companion. The memory of the day in the arena, the roar of the crowd, the disbelief, the silent bond, remained a powerful source of strength and inspiration. It reminded Elias that even in the face of hardship, love and patience could bring about profound change. Each quiet moment with Rosa and Lightning was a victory in itself, a testament to resilience and hope. The community's support continued to surround the family like a gentle embrace. Neighbors brought meals, shared stories, and offered help with chores and errands, creating a network of kindness that eased some of the burdens Elias carried. Though he rarely sought attention or praise, Elias's story had touched many hearts, becoming a beacon of courage and perseverance in a world often marked by hardship. His journey, from the man who tamed the untamable horse to the devoted husband fighting for his wife, inspired those around him to find strength in their own struggles. Despite the uncertainty of the future, Elias faced each day with a steady heart, bolstered by love and the enduring bonds that had carried him through so much. His life with Rosa and Lightning was a quiet testament to the power of connection, patience, and unwavering devotion, a story that continued to unfold with grace and dignity. As the days grew shorter and the crisp air of autumn settled over the ranch, Elias found himself reflecting more deeply on the journey that had brought him here. The years had left their marks, in the lines etched on his face, the ache in his joints, and the quiet weariness that settled over him at times. Yet beneath it all was a wellspring of resilience and quiet pride. The bond he shared with Rosa and Lightning was the center of his world, a source of strength that carried him through even the darkest days. Watching Lightning move with calm grace through the fading light was a reminder of their shared journey, from wildness to trust, from hardship to hope. The memory of the arena, the disbelief of the crowd, and the profound silence that followed his ride was no longer just a story, but a part of his soul. Elias knew that life was fragile and uncertain, but he faced it with a steady heart, fortified by love and the quiet courage that comes from enduring hardship. Each moment with Rosa, each glance exchanged, was a precious gift, a reminder that love could sustain even the most battered spirit. One chilly evening, wrapped in a blanket on the porch, Elias sat quietly, listening to the soft sounds of the ranch settling into night. Rosa rested peacefully inside, and Lightning stood nearby, a silent sentinel watching over them both. The stars began to twinkle in the clear sky, casting a gentle light over the quiet landscape. Elias's thoughts wandered to the future. Uncertain, yes, but not without hope. The journey had been long and difficult, marked by loss, struggle, and unexpected victories. But through it all, the love between him, Rosa, and Lightning had remained unbroken, a testament to the enduring power of connection and resilience. In that peaceful moment, Elias felt a deep sense of gratitude and peace. Whatever the coming days held, he knew he was not alone. With Lightning by his side and Rosa in his heart, he carried a strength that no illness or hardship could diminish. The morning light filtered softly through the worn curtains as Elias woke with a sense of calm that had eluded him for so long. The house was quiet except for the gentle breathing of Rosa and the faint sounds of Lightning grazing nearby. Despite the hardships etched deep into his bones and the weight of years pressing on his spirit, Elias felt a profound peace. He moved slowly to Rosa's side, taking her fragile hand in his with a tenderness born of decades of shared struggle and unwavering love. The journey they had traveled, from despair to hope, from loss to quiet victory, filled his heart with a gratitude that words could hardly capture. Lightning, once the wild stallion that had terrified so many, was now a symbol of endurance and connection, a living reminder that love could tame even the most untamable forces. As Elias looked out the window, watching the horse move calmly in the morning light, He knew that their story was more than just a tale of overcoming. It was a testament to the enduring power of patience, faith, and the bonds that carry us through life's darkest moments. That evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky with hues of gold and amber, Elias sat on the porch wrapped in a warm blanket, the quiet world around him settling into night. Rosa rested peacefully inside, her breathing steady, and Lightning stood faithfully nearby, a silent guardian. Elias's thoughts drifted to the future, uncertain, yes, but no longer frightening. The love they had shared, the trust they had rebuilt, and the strength they had found in one another gave him the courage to face whatever came next. Their journey was not defined by grand gestures or dramatic victories, but by the quiet, steady acts of care and devotion that had shaped every day. With a heart full of gratitude and a spirit unbroken, Elias knew that even as the seasons changed and time moved forward, the bonds forged in love and resilience would endure, carrying them through all of life's challenges with grace and hope.